Hello and welcome to CBA, coming to you from Hargeisa, Somaliland. My name is Abdillahi Hassan and you are watching the news in brief. Somaliland's opposition parties Ciidanka and Wadani condemned the detention of Somaliland nationalists in Mogadishu in Somalia. In a joint press conference, Ciidanka Party Secretary of Information and Wadani official alleged that two Somaliland nationalists are illegally held in Mogadishu. The opposition officials said the detained men were businessmen that work in Mogadishu and gave their names as Ahmed Awale and Khadar Hadigle. Hargeisa and Mohammed Farah alleged that the chief of police in Banaadir region is holding the men captive illegally. Mohammed Farah alleged that the two men are subjected to discrimination in Mogadishu because they are from Somaliland. He said that was not acceptable. Hargeisa, the press secretary of Ciidanka Party, called on the Somali government to immediately release the men and lift the ban on their business. He alleged that all Somalis from all over the region trade and do business together everywhere. The Somali government has banned visits to inmates in prisons across the country as prevention measures to curb coronavirus. The commander of Somali Custodial Corps, General Mahad Abdurrahman Adan, said the move follows a directive issued by the Ministry of Health and Social Services for a period of 2 weeks. General Mahad of the Department of Health has pledged to put in place officials and equipment at exit and entry points of prisoners for COVID-19 screening. There are an estimated 1,200 prisoners in the central prison in Mogadishu, according to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. Previously, the central prison in Mogadishu was the only prison that's under the responsibility of the Ministry of Justice, Religious Affairs and Endowment of the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia. An earlier report by the United Nations Political Office in Somalia stated that prisoners' living conditions in Mogadishu's central prison falls short of meeting minimum international and national standards. The government's decision has been commended, having in mind that the prison facilities are not at par with the required standards. So far, one Somali citizen was diagnosed with the virus, while 9 others were quarantined for testing after they traveled into the country from affected countries. All learning centers were directed to close for 2 weeks and civil servants ordered to work from home, whereas international flight is banned except for the cargo planes with humanitarian supplies such as food and medicine. Neighboring countries such as Kenya and Ethiopia continue to record more cases as they struggle to contain the virus which originated from China. The federal government of Somalia will quarantine passengers coming from China, the European Union, the United States, Australia, Canada, Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, India, the United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, the Saudi Kingdom and South Africa for 14 days upon arrival. The Ministry of Health said the travelers will undergo mandatory 2 weeks coronavirus screening a day after the country lifted 2 days ban on international flights. A statement by the government said the Ministry of Health urges passengers at entry points to follow the instructions of the health professionals. Meanwhile, Somalis coming from other countries not included in the list have been advised to self-quarantine themselves, as the virus has become pandemic, affecting almost 2/3 of the countries of the world. Somalia's government had on Saturday said it has temporarily lifted a ban on international flights for 2 days to allow citizens who have been stranded across the world to return home due to COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Transport of Somalia said the airlines will be allowed to fly into the country to facilitate the return of Somalis stranded at international airports, especially in Kenya, the United Arab Emirates and Ethiopia. The latest move comes after the government on Tuesday announced measures including shutting down all learning institutions, banning international flights and large social gatherings for 2 weeks to help reduce the potential spread of the deadly virus. The Horn of Africa nation has so far confirmed one COVID-19 case in the country. Some other 10 people have been quarantined after arriving from countries that have been ravaged by the virus. The ministry said the government has embarked on tracing people who traveled with the patient on the same flight. The Office of the UN Assistance Mission in Somalia has commended a planned visit by Puntland's state leader Abdillahi Hassan in Mogadishu in the forthcoming days. The Garowe-based administration said the regional leader will visit the Somali capital to meet the federal government leadership in a bid to resolve the political stalemate between the two sides for months. The UN in Somalia commends President Hassan's intention to visit Mogadishu and is pleased with the federal government's delegation who welcomed this. And some said in a tweet, adding, "We look forward to meeting between President Hassan and the President Formaggio to advance dialogue in the national interest." The move comes after cabinet members and members of parliament convinced the regional leader to make concessions during the Puntland State Consultation Forum last week. A resolution by Puntland authorities to conduct the Somali Political Stakeholders Forum in Garowe to discuss the future of upcoming elections was turned down. Some of the delegates, including legislators from the state, argued that the apparatus was out of order since the election law was approved by both houses and signed by the president. The 3 days long conference fronted a host of accusations against the federal government in Mogadishu, accusing it of breaching the letter and spirit of federalism, acting on its own accord without the input of the federal member states. Citing the provisions of its constitution, the conference announced it had conferred powers to the state government to act in the interest of Puntland and its people. Puntland had hinted at accession from the rest of Somalia in what signals a gross fracturing of relations with the federal government, adding a new headache to the efforts in unifying a country which has for years been torn by civil war and clan conflicts. Spain on Sunday announced 394 new deaths caused by the novel coronavirus, raising to 1,720 the official death toll in Europe's worst hit country after Italy. This constitutes a 30% increase from the previous day. The number of confirmed cases of the disease rose to 28,572, according to Health Ministry figures, with officials warning infections will rise further in the coming days. With 1,785 being treated in intensive care units for the virus, there is mounting concern about the overcrowding at hospitals. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez warned late on Saturday that Spain's outbreak, already among the harshest in the world, could continue to worsen. We have yet to receive the impact of the strongest, most damaging wave, which will test our material and moral capacities to the limit, as well as our spirit as a society, the Prime Minister said. Spain has issued lockdown orders for its roughly 46 million residents who are only permitted to leave their homes for essential work, food shopping, medical reasons, or to walk the dog. Meanwhile, the Spanish media has reported that the government is seeking to extend a 15 days emergency situation imposed this month to curb the spread of coronavirus. The nationwide state of emergency announced on March 14 bars people from all but essential outings as the country grapples with Europe's second worst coronavirus outbreak. The extension would need to be approved by Parliament, but that is guaranteed after Spain's main opposition party, the Conservative People's Party, said it would support it. Thank you for joining us. That was our news in brief. Stay tuned for a full and more detailed news coverage coming to you later tonight.